All right, going to quickly talk about peace, serenity, and how that works when it comes to, I guess you would say, show business. The focal point here is Ariana Grande taking a little bit of a hiatus, and I think from the outside looking in, it looks like, very judgmental or even caring in a way because, you appear or you see, is Ariana healthy? And that's one part of the conversation. But I think one thing to be focusing in for everyone really on how busy the day-to-day grind is when do you take a little moment to take a hiatus of your own, because we're always going, and while there is more to explore to this, of course, Ariana Grande has been for a very long time a very big success, not just in the way that she's made a lot of money, but she has a lot of talents, and sometimes taking some time away to really get to self is always valuable. Now this announcement of Ariana taking a hiatus, kind of stepping away from the public eye, has not come without a lot of scrutiny or chatter, and sometimes you really do have to just turn off that noise. All right, breaking it down real quick, randomlyronniejr.com, of course, support that. I've done over 1,500 episodes. Radio is really where I got my start, of course, but if you want to support now, patreon.com/randomlyronniejr, I'd appreciate it. So listen, I just wanted to talk about Ariana really quickly. The lighting is the natural lighting, letting the sun cascade on me, letting the elements and nature really kind of bask in this one, because I wanted to make sure that two things were present here, that we're going to talk about Ariana Grande's announcement for getting a little bit of time away from her public image. But then also on the other side, is her health something that is worrisome, or, it's not looking great in a lot of ways. She's gotten thin to a level that is concerning. I think on one hand is the best bet is that she did decide to take a little bit of a break, a little bit of a hiatus, because running at a certain magnitude over and over for such a long time and being like a business really removes you from yourself. I've heard some negative conversations in terms of Ariana stepping away from the spotlight. Her team is nothing but yes people, and they're not taking care of her, and they're gaslighting everyone in the respect of like she's healthy, and it's like clearly she's not healthy. The thing about that is, if you don't already like her, throwing more on it is not really solving or helping anybody in the situation. If you truly do think those things and truly do have a concern, then have the concern. But it's always funny that there's like a little bit of a judgment of like, it's clear she's not healthy, and don't play me for a fool. And sometimes it's like, makes me think, like, while I don't know if she is healthy or not, that's of course something that's like a really crazy thing, and hopefully she's gonna get the help that she needs, but it's like, isn't it further concluding that she's taking time away because why do the art to the level and to the longevity that she's done if she can't do anything right? If clearly there's a concern about her image and her health, taking time away should be like the answer, because then it could be time away, even a mental rehabilitation, not always being a product. She's been a product for how long? She started very young, made it big in music as a young 21-year-old, made errors, not even 20, maybe in her 19 or something, 20, 22, and has been going and going. One of the songs she's done, Break Free, is probably the best song ever. One of my favorites. It's the anthem, baby. I love Ariana Grande's Break Free. But to break free, I think it's two conversations here. I think we all, whether you're of the level where you're like a business and you unfortunately do have people around you that are always going to say yes to you, and maybe that does get you out of your mindset of being really composed and making sure you take care of yourself health-wise, maybe, but you're also the machine. And with that machine, it's like when you're succeeding on that level, you make a joke that's not funny, everyone still laughs. It makes it hard, and I think, yes, there are some people that should probably really look into the betterment of her. That is just on one side. And the way I think about that too is thinking about people we see in the public space where they have went through something, and looking back, it looks a little bit different, or why didn't someone jump in? Anna Nicole Smith, of course, had such a hard time about her And it was almost like, she was propped up for every opportunity to make a lot of money for a lot of people, and no one stepped in and to her demise, and that was horrible. Michael Jackson went through a lot of stuff. A lot of these things too could be putting themselves in a bad position, sure, but I think that I would never want to judge too much and make judgments on things I don't know, because here's the thing, like, remember when Chadwick Boseman was doing the NBA All-Star? It was an event of sorts, and this was when, like, Twitter, I believe, was it wasn't brand new, but it definitely was of a time that, like, something that looked odd or different, people would come with their hot takes, everyone with their scathing hot takes. Anyways, the hot takes were like, oh my gosh, and some of them were the rudest things you could ever imagine. And yeah, while the artists have thick skin, sure, no one knew months later that he actually was suffering, and then later did pass away from cancer, and it was a really difficult thing. And how many people, not knowing anything about anything, certainly they're welcome to judge, that's their prerogative, and these people are in the public eye, I get that, but all of a sudden you look back and it's like, do you really feel comfortable that you really had such brazen energy for somebody who was not doing well? So no one's to know except for Ariana Grande herself and her team and her family how she's doing. But I would hate to be so damn judgmental. Me personally, I'd hate to be so damn judgmental and not know what is really going on. But the best thing about this too is the other side of it, the business side of it. Stepping away is something that I don't think we're getting. You could be working at the Piggly Wiggly grocery store 9 to 5, or you could be a business like Ariana Grande. I feel personally, don't do even what I'm doing now. I'm sitting in the sun, I'm basking in the waves, I hear the waves crashing yonder, I'm getting, really set with nature, and we're just constantly go, go, go. I know that for my business, working in radio since I was in my early 20s, and it was always more content. We need more, we need this, we need that. And while all that is true and you have to be competitive, I think when you're someone like Ariana, luckily, again, I don't know the health component, but now I'm talking about the business slow down component. She has done two things that a lot of people don't have the luxury of having. And one of them is she has achieved the success, like she's done all the things she's wanted to do. She's done Wicked. She's a gal that grew up loving musicals, loving like a Barbra Streisand, and she's done her versions of all those things. So already therapeutically, on a creative level, she's accomplished those things. And on a money level, she's accomplished money where she does not have to work. If you're working at the Piggly Wiggly grocery store 9 to 5, you're going to have to continue to work. But I think the funniest thing is not giving ourselves grace to take time to reset, to rejuvenate, and to refocus. When I started doing a lot of what I was doing, I started radio in my early 20s. I'm in my mid 40s, and really, I do appreciate patreon.com/randomly Ronnie Jr. I appreciate that support. But I think that I've always been sort of subconsciously or otherwise trained to just go, push through. And I get so much of that in the vein of tenacity and achievement and winning, but you cannot continue to do these things at a level of longevity. It's always going to essentially catch up to you. And I feel like I started again as a radio, entertainment, showbiz, pop culture guy. And now I'm shifting more into, I'm not trying to, but I'm shifting more into like life coach, serenity, peace, like slow down, take a beat, like, let's really make every moment count. And I found that this would be a really great way to talk about Ariana Grande and celebrate her, but then also understand things do get difficult. I also want to make one thing that she went through that was pretty emotionally challenging is Ariana was, I think it was like 2014, 15 or 16, she was performing in Manchester, and a unmentionable moment had happened at her concert, to the point that the concert had got shut down, to the point where tragic occurrences happened for Ariana Grande fans, let's say. This was in Manchester, and she had to come back about 3 weeks later. It was like a bit of a benefit. She performed. She wasn't even dressed in the regular Ariana Grande performance garb. She was in some jeans, a sweatshirt, hair pulled back, still performance ready and cute and all that stuff, but it was a very shaken Ariana Grande. Everyone was there to kind of support her. I believe Black Eyed Peas were performing with her, Miley Cyrus was performing with her, Mac Miller at the time was performing with her. If you think about it, she has been going on a 1,000 miles an hour road without stopping forever. And she went through a moment that some people went to go see an Ariana Grande concert and the unmentionable had happened. I don't even think she's ever gotten to break down and break free from even that moment. There's a level of I remember when it happened, I remember being like, wow, this is the moment that, like, she was just kind of doing the work year after year after year and succeeding, and then now you're unfortunately graduated into this mature new level of, like, this thing happened at the basis of her concert. She has nothing to do with it. It was just a tragic event, but still, to think someone came to see her concert that night, and that was, the last concert they would ever see. And, these are just things that happen on the bystander of Ariana Grande. She has nothing to do with it, but that's something that I feel like, when I'm thinking of, like, oh, she's taking time off to break free and to hopefully get healthy and get better if rehab is necessary. I don't know if some type of bulimic situation, who knows, whatever it is, if there's one of those things, this could be the time to go through it all and really rejuvenate. And I just don't think that a lot of people do that. We know how to go, we know how to push through, we know how to fight, and we know how to focus. We don't know how to take a beat. We don't know how to pause. We don't know how to chill. We don't know how to understand our own successes. Anyways, what are your thoughts? Ariana Grande, are we very much in concern for her health? Obviously, as we're seeing in latest music videos and concert footage, is it to be concerned? And then on the flip side, is she on the smartest view of it all, where she is taking the smart steps to get away from the public eye, take a hiatus, and be all the best that she can be, and come back years later? Also, a fun part of this, what's your favorite Ariana Grande performance? Are you into a certain song? Did you love her in Wicked, version 1 or part 1 or part 2? Anyways, celebrating Ariana Grande, but more than that, celebrating when people are moving too fast and they got to stop and reset, because I think essentially that's for everybody.